Welcome back, all you hardcore maniacs. This is another week of IPW Weekly Recap right here on UPN 44. I'm your host, Aaron Royal, and the suspension is over. Ron Neimi back with me as my partner this week. Don't forget, fans, we've got the double shot, the big double shot march coming up next week, Friday at the Florida WrestlePlex. That's March the 29th at 8 p.m. And then the Return of the Madness, Crystal River, 8 p.m. Saturday, March the 30th. You fans have got to check it out. But as far as today's show, we've got 4 matches that could be headlining any show anywhere in the country. Our main event, Wrongful Death makes their first tag team title defense against Risk Factor. We also have Pat McGroin with Mr. Peskin and Pat Powers. They represent the professionals. They're going against Ron Neimi's Mike Sullivan from 911 Incorporated. We have an independent cruiser super clash, Mike Quackenbush against Seijin Akki, and we're going to our opening match, fans, right now. Fans, here we go, our first big match of the week. You see him come to the ring with Fantasy. It's the Cuban assassin, Fidel, and he's carrying that WWC Caribbean strap. And he's about to go in against a man that he knows all too well here in IPW and all across the globe, as a matter of fact, and that's the Rastaman.
Rastaman and the Cuban assassin, Fidel have had a feud raged throughout Puerto Rico and Florida for so many years now. I lose count of how many times these two have brutalized themselves. And you look at Rastaman coming to the ring with the smile funny, big smile on his face. You would think he's not taking this war seriously. But believe me, Aaron, he wants to take that WWC Caribbean Championship home.
Yes, he does. He's wrestled in Puerto Rico on several occasions for many groups down there. So there's a lot of pride on the line when he's wrestling for a title of this magnitude. Cuban Assassin also always seems to have one title or another that he's bringing here to IPW to defend ever since he lost that IPW heavyweight title a couple of years ago. And there you see him attacking Rastaman from behind, and we're underway here, Ron. These two guys, like you said, have done it many times, but this particular feud started when Cuban Assassin cost Rastaman possibly the TV title in a match against ODD.
He's always been a thorn in the side of Rastaman. Anything he can do to get under the skin to rekindle this bloody feud, he's gonna do it. And I'm gonna tell you one thing where you gotta look out for some heat. Gentleman Jim Bragg didn't get to enjoy the small funny with the Rastaman, and I guarantee you, he's not gonna call it right down the middle. I think that was a big mistake by Fidel.
Well, I tell you what, he didn't get to enjoy that small funny, as you said. Fidel starting attacking Rastaman from behind, as is usually par for the course in a Fidel match. He takes any kind of shortcut he can get, and he's helped out in that regard by Fantasy outside the ring. She'll tell you she's not just the beauty of the group, which is plainly obvious when you look at them both, but she'll also tell you she's the brains behind the whole Cuban assassin operation.
You got to give her credit. She speaks 5 different languages fluently. She's a college-educated girl, but I don't like her. I don't like what she stands for. I don't like what she's doing hanging around with Fidel for almost 10 years now. They're trouble. I don't like them back in IPW.
And that's exactly where she comes into play. She grabbed the foot of Rastaman there, and he's distracted long enough to turn around, try to grab her into the ring, and Fidel takes back over control. And these two guys just keep popping each other right in the jaw. You'd think that these guys might even keep hitting each other once they make their way to the back.
That's the truth. You don't know when the fight's going to stop. You don't know if it's going to be a pile driver that's going to break the neck of Rastaman. Jim Bragg looks really upset over in the corner.
It wasn't even quite a pile driver there. He kind of just fell with him, but we can't quite see it there. There we go. His legs draped across the ropes. No pinfall attempt possible there, but Fidel obviously having the wind taken out of him. He's a little worn down himself to not see that his feet were already on the ropes for that pin attempt.
Huge spin kick to the jaw of Fidel. I got to give the truck a lot of credit. The production has improved. I've taken 2 weeks off to tend to some personal, should I call them problems? What should I call them, Aaron?
I don't know if you want to call them problems. I don't know if you want to give Mike Peskin that kind of credit. Oh, look at that. He just slams his head right into the canvas there, and Fidel may be out.
I hope Rastaman finally finishes this idiot once and for all and takes home that Caribbean Championship. Huge blockbuster type maneuver. That's got to be it for Fidel.
What's going on there? Come on, Jim Bragg. You've been around long enough. You know better than that. When Fantasy gets up on the apron, just ignore. He had a visual 3 count. And what is that hanging out of the back of her pants, Ron Neimi?
Speaking of a visual, is that I'm not used to Fantasy wearing a G-string. I'm not used to her showing off the beautiful TNA that she possesses. And Cuban Assassin takes the opportunity and levels Rastaman with some brass knucks.
Is that what they were?
Yes, brass knucks.
There
For the
we go.
1, 2, 3.
I hate to say it, Jim Braggon is starting to show his age there, 172 years old, as he just totally got fooled and bamboozled in this encounter.
On March 29th and March 30th, the massacre on 35th Street at the Florida WrestlePlex and the return of the madness at the Crystal River National Guard Armory. You're going to see wars just like Rastaman and Fidel Sierra.
All right, fans, we'll be back. All right, fans, we're back, and making his return to IPW, the former IPW light heavyweight champion and independent superstar Mike Quackenbush, and there's another former IPW light heavyweight champion, Seijin Akki. And Ron, this is what I might call an independent lovers fest.
Only you would call it an independent lovers fest. What this is an independent dream match.
That's what I said.
You got the Lucha Libre style of Mike Quackenbush. He's more of a hybrid between Japanese and Lucha style, mixed with some of the most crazy, huge American spots that I've ever seen. Seijin Akki is about the only guy that meshes and intertwines with this type of talent. The fans of IPW and the fans of the independent scene are a little bit awestruck when they see a match like this, and they're not quite sure what to say. I'm not even going to try to call what the hell he just did.
Actually, he just did a double step-over gimmick right out of that maneuver there by Seijin Akki. And if this was this amateur wrestling, he'd have 3 points for an escape, but it's not. It's professional wrestling, IPW style, and instead of getting points, he gets a knee right to the jaw.
Huge knee lift. What that actually was a double step-over gimmick into a cartwheel deal. Get it right, Aaron.
I'm sorry, Rod. I've been off for the last 2 weeks without you. We see some serious forearm action going on here from Mike Quackenbush to Seijin Akki, but Seijin just strong arms him and stops it. And what in the world was that?
Huge submission armbar maneuver. Locked on, takes over Quackenbush, and he's going to break his arm if the mullet doesn't get in or break it up because he's got his foot on the ropes. Got to give the mullet credit.
Always got to give the mullet credit with Richie's Rats at ringside. He's always out there and ready to go, ready to perform. He had a match here against Don Juan DeSanto that we all saw not too long ago. But right now he's back to his normal self. He's in there refereeing the matches and doing a good job.
You got to give these guys credit. It doesn't matter if it's here at the Florida WrestlePlex or like I mentioned in March, we're back. Oh, huge miss by Quackenbush. Big miscue. That's where Seijin Akki takes over and puts a big kick right to the chest cavity.
I tell you what, everyone was looking forward to this matchup between these cruiserweight superstars, and it has not disappointed. Nice arm drag takeover there by Mike Quackenbush. And fans, longtime fans of IPW will remember the wars he had with your Jet Jaguar and also the All-American Jeff Peterson. And everyone's glad to see a talent of this caliber back here in the IPW ring.
Mike Quackenbush was the innovator, the first-time wrestler with Jet Jaguar and Jeff Peterson to wrestle in the huge industrial-sized forklift ladder match at the Crystal River National Guard Armory. One of the craziest matches that'll ever go down in IPW
Here comes
history.
Seijin. Oh, another nice elbow shot. Or is that a forearm? I'm not even sure.
That was a roaring elbow.
Roaring elbow. I'm sorry.
Roar.
I didn't know we had Masato Tanaka here. But here goes Seijin Akki. Some sort of missed splash gimmick maneuver off the top rope there. Mike Quackenbush saw that coming a mile away and got out of the way from Seijin Akki there. Seijin Akki maybe showing a little bit of his quote-unquote rookiness, if you will. Maybe he's a little bit nervous going against this guy as he just flies off Seijin Akki's stomach a la old Ivan Koloff type maneuvers.
I think he's been watching Ivan Koloff and Kevin Sullivan tapes with that huge double stomp to the gut. If you go to IPW-hardcore.com or call 727-526-6778, you can get the entire IPW schedule. On April 3rd,
what in the world? Throws him right out of the ring.
Throws them out like yesterday's garbage.
I'm sure he's going to come right back over the top. Here he comes, springboard. Oh, he likes giving those knees and those elbows right to people's jaws. It's a little bit of a unique offensive maneuver there by Seijin Akki, but I don't like the whole trying to be sexy and showing off his back thing. It's just distracting, quite frankly.
You've always mentioned that you don't like the small of his back one bit, but you got to give the guy credit. How do you counter somebody taking their knee and crushing your head? And like I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, if you go to IPW-hardcore.com and you can see on March 29th and March 30th, we're going to be at the Florida WrestlePlex and at the Crystal River National Guard Armory. April 3rd, IPW returns to the Dallas Bull on US Highway 301 in Tampa. IPW Hardcore Wrestling invades the Deltona High School in May. We're invading the Pinellas Park Expo Hall in April and May. We're going crazy.
Ron,
IPW's just getting started. Huge move by Quackenbush, stretching him in a crossbow type maneuver.
Yeah, it's like a reverse crossbow. Oh, and then just lays him out right in his face. This could be it for Seijin Akki, but Mike Quackenbush, you got to hurry a little bit more than that to get him pinned.
He hooks the arm, rolls him up in a huge pretzel type maneuver and doesn't get the 3 count. The mullet, he's on the top of his game. Quackenbush is pulling out all these innovative maneuvers and gets German for his troubles.
Nice German suplex there. Actually, almost a fisherman suplex there. I thought he was going to go into, but instead he just takes the German suplex, but holds it just perfectly. And there he goes with the fisherman. 1, 2, no, not quite 3. As Quackenbush is able to kind of kick his way out of it a little bit there. These two guys obviously are tired. They've been going upwards of 20 minutes here by this point. As you know, unfortunately, we cannot show you the whole match each and every week. You've got to come out to our shows like the Double Shot, March 29th and 30th. But what you can watch right now is a nice leg sweep there that nearly broke the knee of Seijin Akki.
That's a very dangerous maneuver. If you're not smart enough to go with that corkscrew leg sweep, you're probably going to have your knee torn right out of its socket. Mike Quackenbush, not only an accomplished wrestler, but an accomplished author. He's put out a tremendous book that is selling like crazy throughout all the bookstores and all the independent shows that he's been appearing on throughout the country. If you go to IPW-hardcore.com, you can have the opportunity to purchase that book.
Look at that maneuver. It looked like it was just diving over the top rope. Turns it into a spinning DDT, and this could be it. 2, no, Seijin Akki again kicks out. This shouldn't surprise us. Seijin Akki has victories over guys like Jet Jaguar, Rod Steele, and even Mike Sullivan, so he's not going to falter just because an independent superstar is in the ring with him.
Mike Quackenbush trying to set up Seijin Akki for the huge Quacken driver, and he comes off with a missing spin kick of his own and gets dropped into a big face gimmick deal and another twisty.
Here we go. He's going. Look, 2, 3. That's it.
What a huge upset.
Drive up to our school, your friends all look so cool, hanging by the bleachers. Your friends all stop and stare at my spiky hair and at my punk rock t-shirt. You are the girl for me, only you can see me. Your eyes are not open, 'cause I am one of a kind, and you'll never find a guy who will love you more. I see you in the hall, I trip and then I fall, and you just stand there laughing. It wouldn't hurt so bad if you only had offered to help me up, and you are the girl for me, only you can see.
All right, this is a feud we've all been talking about. It's the Professionals, run by Mr. Mike Peskin, the former owner of IPW, as he leads Pat McGroin to the ring along with Pat Powers. And they're going to be facing off against your guys, Rod Neimi. We're going to see you here in just a minute. It's going to be against Mike Sullivan. You're coming out there with him along with the lovely Ecstasy. But this feud between 911 Incorporated and all of IPW, in fact, and the Professionals, is getting hotter and hotter and a lot more personal.
Mr. Peskin has come into uncharted territories. This isn't some stupid storyline or angle. Mike Peskin sold me IPW Hardcore Wrestling a few years ago after I was hired as the booker. He didn't have the heart and he didn't have the guts to stay in this business and do what it takes to take it to this level. Ron Neimi did, and because of him sticking his nose in our business, the truth of the matter is, IPW Hardcore Wrestling, 911 Incorporated, Ron Neimi, people like Devin Nash, Jet Jaguar, we're suddenly the most popular individuals on the shows. We're cheering whenever we come in the building. I don't know how to explain it, but I gotta admit it, Aaron, I like it, man.
Well, actually, Devin Nash has always been cheered, but the rest of you was a little bit questionable. You got cheered by people who like to cheer people that broke the rules, but other than that, people didn't like you very much. And I'll tell you, I knew Pat McGroin has become a much better wrestler. He held the TV title for about 6 months, but I didn't realize the size this guy's putting on. Oh, and he gets kicked right in his own McGroin right there by Mike Sullivan. He just lays him out with a clothesline. But this guy's in there with a guy as big as Mike Sullivan, and he's almost bigger than the guy, and I didn't realize that he was getting quite that jacked, Ron Neimi.
Pat McGroin is in absolutely tremendous physical condition. He's taken everything he can and put it into his wrestling career. He's the former IPW TV champion. He's got Pat Powers out there coddling him at ringside. And Mr. Peskin holding my Halliburton, mind you, that he stole over a month ago. I was given that Halliburton by a very good friend of mine, and Mr. Peskin now is stealing it, and he's trying to use that beautiful weapon, I mean, briefcase, against 911 Incorporated.
Yeah, nice technical wrestling going on here between Mike Sullivan and Pat McGroin, and I'll tell you, if Frenchie Martin gave me a briefcase and Mike Peskin stole it, I'd be very upset as well.
Frenchie Martin gave that to me as a gift. Coming up through the ranks in professional wrestling and doing everything I can to take the independent scene in Florida to the next level. You look at people like Mike Sullivan, Pat Powers, and Pat McGroin, and that schlep Mike Peskin standing at ringside. This is what Florida wrestling's all about. You got a goddess like Ecstasy standing at ringside, and the mullet falls for the oldest trick in the book. Brett Gagne stopped doing that 15
Now look at that.
years
They're shaking hands. He didn't fall for nothing, Ron Neimi. He's learned from the best. He knows how to go with trickery, chicanery, and tomfoolery. And that's exactly what him and Mike Sullivan perpetrated on Pat McGroin. And there you see Pat Powers grabbing Mike Sullivan's leg, allowing Pat McGroin to just brutally clothesline Sullivan over the top rope. And you could be a three-time former IPW heavyweight champion, but you fall on your head on the concrete and you're just dizzy.
Sitting in the front row at IPW Hardcore Wrestling has got to be one of the most dangerous gigs in the entire business.
No, the most dangerous gig in the entire business comes from chaos, but that's a story for another time.
Good point.
And here you see Pat Powers taking care of Mike Sullivan on the outside of the ring. Where are you, Ron Neimi? You must be dealing with that little squirrely Mike Peskin in his Shannon Rose sweater that he liked to wear for this show.
Off camera, I'm beating the life out of Mr. Peskin and currently turning that
Well,
back
that's
to
weird
challenge.
because he's right there.
Well, nevertheless.
I know what you're doing. You're over in the corner talking to Ecstasy. No, there she is. Where are you at?
I went over to the concession stand to visit my good friend Concession Boy to get one of those IPW exclusive WrestlePlex bratwursts, brother.
Okay, there you are back over by Ecstasy. I'm telling you. Oh, nice suplex there. Release German suplex by Mike Sullivan. And Pat McGroin starting to find out why this guy pretty much ran IPW for a better part of a year and a half. And here comes Pat Powers up on there, trying to fool Richie Rich. You're not going to fool the mullet that easily, even if your hair is nearly as long. And there you see, you got the Halliburton back. Frenchie would be proud. You just took out the Canadian pagan, whatever I call that Pat Powers guy. You took him out, but Pat McGroin still has Mike Sullivan reeling, and he's got him on the top rope for what looks like a big suplex coming off here.
There's no way you're going to take off Mike Sullivan with some huge superplex, and he throws down Pat Powers like a sack of potatoes.
Oh, but he misses with the Chris Benoit-style flying headbutt. And I'll tell you, when you land with your head on the mat like that, it's going to disorient you, and he might have been taking control of the match there, but this is going to give Pat McGroin a great opportunity to get a big upset, possibly his biggest win to date in IPW. And again, falling on his own McGroin. Well, who would ever thought that joke would come back to haunt him twice in the same match?
Ecstasy doing her job, doing what it takes, and there's Mike Sullivan hitting Pat Powers. Pat McGroin with a huge belly-to-belly suplex off of the top rope, and I think he's practically killed this guy.
I tell you, what a great television match this has been between these two individuals. This is the second time they've met each other, and look at that, he gets pancaked right in his face. 2, 3. All right, fans, the winner of this match is Mike Sullivan, and they're going to be hearing from you quite a bit more, Ron Neimi.
911 Incorporated's coming after Mr. Peskin and the professionals.
Hey, this is Cal Edmonputz from the Steel Cage on Sports Radio 1010 The Team.
And you're watching IPW Hardcore Wrestling on UPN 44.
Yeah.
All right, fans, main event time here on IPW Weekly Recap, and you see coming to the ring along with Cedric Strong, it's Risk Factor of Roderick Strong and Kamikaze, and here are your tag team champions, the Florida Unified tag team champions, Dagan Briggs and Naftali, along with the lovely Seven, looking like a pink lady out there today. They are your Florida Unified tag team champions, known as Wrongful Death, and I'm gonna let you talk while I stare at Seven.
I want to stare at Seven.
Oh, not
too.
that.
This is what you call taking the Florida Unified Tag Team Championship to the next level. Wrongful Death against Risk Factor, two of the most high-flying tag teams on the independent scene in the same ring, defending those IPW and NWA Florida tag team titles. And I'm going to tell you what, Roderick Strong comes in brutal. He's laid in some wicked stiffs and in a knee lift right to the chestal cavity of Dagan Briggs.
I tell you what, I don't think I've seen any wrestling anywhere with the brutality of the chops displayed by so many of the people on this roster. I don't know if it's the training here in IPW. I don't know if you get chopped by some of these guys enough, you just have to retaliate. And I don't know how Kamikaze's ever going to get up after that double kick right, double kick, right.
Kamikaze is deceptive how tough he is. This kid is oh my God, this is just the beginning of the match, and he's getting brutalized. I gotta put in a plug though. I'm not a big fan of Kamikaze, but if you go to IPW-hardcore.com, you can get one of those incredibly cool Kamikaze shirts, Death from Above. If you go to IPW-hardcore.com and go into the store, and he takes another wicked kick. I'll tell you one thing, Steve Corino didn't take kicks like that from Hashimoto. Naftali is destroying Kamikaze.
Yes, he is, and Kamikaze might have improved by leaps and bounds here in the last few months in IPW around the state of Florida. But I don't care how good you are. You get brutalized that badly, it's going to hurt, and you're not going to want to keep going, and he's about to get stretched by Dagon Briggs.
It was like the Mud Baby Star Stevens said after the match. He looked me dead in the eyes, and he said,
Ronnie, a concussion is no good for you when you're trying to make a name for yourself in this here wrestling business, brother.
I tell you what, every once in a while, Star Stevens makes sense. He still sounds funny, but he definitely makes sense. And here comes, I thought he was going to come off the top ropes. Oh, what in the world is going on there?
That's what you call upsetting the fans. That's what you call not giving them what they paid for. Naftali, not one of the favorites here in IPW. Now what's he doing?
Nice.
Beautiful maneuver. Wow, what do you call that?
I'm not sure, but Kamikaze able to flip Naftali over, and you'd almost think these guys practice this match countless times the way they're going in there with the ebb and flow like this.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying these two guys seem to know each other very, very well. They've trained together at the WrestlePlex on several occasions, and they may not be teammates. Well, they're certainly not teammates with that flying elbow or flying elbow. I don't know what it is. I don't know, Ron. I'm not a play-by-play guy.
Oh my God, how many times can one guy be kicked to the head and still be functioning?
Apparently at least 42, 43, 44, because that's about how many times Kamikaze's been kicked in this match so far.
Don't be afraid to stiff Kamikaze there, Dagon. Whatever you... Huge leg twist.
And I think that just broke my knee.
I think it did. It looks a little bit dislocated.
It's almost like all the times that you were beating me up here on Weekly Recap, but I promised I would try not to talk about that as much, so quit bringing it up, Ron Neimi.
There you see, the referee is diverted by Kamikaze screaming in bloody terror, and they use the opportunity to work double team style. The big gimmick that these two have been going with, everybody knows they're some of the most high-risk, suicidal wrestlers on the IPW roster. So what they do, they tease those high spots. They get the crowd at the end of their seat. They get them chanting, and then they pull back. They don't give them what they want, and they get this crowd so wound up, and then they lock it on Iron Sheik style, camel clutch. I don't know what the hell I'm saying, Eric.
I'll tell you, what just happened there is those two guys did the switcheroo, and they look so much alike, Star Stevens didn't even know that they'd switch places.
Star Stevens doesn't know. I could be switching places with him.
Oh, look at that.
Screw leg whip.
And that's what you call receipt right there.
Plus.
All right, Naftali, I tell you, he's been on TV a lot lately. He's almost pulling a Devin Nash 5 weeks in a row now. I think he's been on IPW television. But I tell you what, Rod, I'm not sure who's going to win this match, but whoever does is going to have their hands full the week of the double shot. March 29th, the titles get defended against guys from Combat Zone Wrestling. March the 30th, they get defended against Jersey All-Pro guys. People coming from all over the country trying to get a shot at these Florida Unified Tag Team titles.
And here comes Roderick Strong in House of Fire, huge hot tag. He wants to face Z-Bar and Nick Burke from Combat Zone Wrestling on the 29th.
Beautiful!
He wants to face the Insane Dragon and Deranged from Jersey All-Pro up at the Crystal River Armory on the 30th. Roderick Strong wants those
What is
titles.
Cedric doing there? The evil Superman, showing exactly why he's so evil, choking out Dagon Briggs. We saw the Strong Brothers come together as they all turned on Kid Lethal not too long ago, and we've got a brand new and improved risk factor.
And Cedric catches his partner and avoids him from further
I
missing.
thought it was a drop kick, but he just kicked him right in the back of the head and sent both the Strong Brothers reeling.
Cedric Strong wearing his pants, courtesy of Sebastian Bach, former lead singer from Skid Row that he bought for $37 on eBay.
Oh, this
A great
could be
purchase.
bad.
Oh, this doesn't look good one bit. Not at all.
Oh!
My God! Welcome to Binoville, the fountain of death. Kamikaze has got to be finished. That is one of the wickedest maneuvers I've ever seen.
Here comes Concession Boy in the ring as they're taking him out. Well, let's make no mistake about it. The winners of the match and still your tag team champions with the absolutely gorgeous 7 at ringside is Wrongful Death. And look, we thought we'd see Shannon Rose dressed like Kamala eventually, but it's not. It's Mark Zout. He took heat from when he was doing the Shawn Michaels gimmick, where you said he had the gimmick down perfectly, but he had a gut like Kamala, and now he's showing everybody that you're exactly right.
This brings back horror stories, back to when gentleman Rick Thames worked as Kim Shi on the house show circuit in the WWF. You got him running around playing Kamala. These guys selling like like Madman, Mike Gold, Mark Gold, Larry Gold. I don't know who he is, but now Kamala just got dropped on his noggin for his trouble.
Yes, he did. And what exactly is Mike Gold doing there? He's taking about the approach Shannon Rose does and just taking up space here in this match. And that's what happens when you're not defending yourself. You get your ass handed to you, IPW style. Ron, real quick before we gotta go, let's talk real quick again about some of those matches for the double shot.
March 29th and March 30th, we're gonna have Billy Five. Right now, wait a second. Agent Steel from Wrongful Death coming in and exacting some revenge.
Actually, Agent Steel is from Quickie Mark.
Quickie Mark coming in. He's trying to get back at Wrongful Death for taking out his partner and losing those titles. Oh my God, huge move.
All right, fans, we're going to the closing. Catch the double shot. All right, welcome back, fans. And you've just seen it, Wrongful Death in their first tag team title defense. It is a successful one. And Ron, they've got two very, very big matches coming up at this double shot in March.
Wrongful Death, your Florida Unified Tag Team champions. They just defended the belt successfully against one of the best up-and-coming teams on the independent scene in Risk Factor. But on March 29th at the Florida WrestlePlex, Wrongful Death will be facing Nick Burke and Z-Bar from Combat Zone Wrestling. If they get through that night successful, the following night at the Crystal River National Guard Armory, in our huge return, they're going to face the Insane Dragon and Deranged from Jersey All Pro Wrestling. Some of the best talent from around the entire country coming to IPW just to go after Wrongful Death.
All right, Ron, you're just back. I don't want to interrupt you again.
I appreciate
But unfortunately, we are out of time.
Come on, Aaron.